right? This is the reason we're here. So we're gonna do the. I mean, I don't think we're gonna find. I don't think we're gonna find as much in this video, in this trailer, as we did in the Final Fantasy Tactics video, but we're gonna do our best to like dissect this frame by frame and see what we can find. We are gonna be watching on 2K or yeah, on 4K, so it should look a little bit better this time around. I'm gonna go back over to Discord and I guess we'll make notes.
Whole story. Tell us about hope.
Titan Quest 2 is kind of your Diablo-esque action RPG, but it's set in ancient Greek mythology. You really can immerse yourself in what you associate Greece with when fighting these mythological monsters, some of which we came up with ourselves, some of which are from Titan Quest 1. Greek mythology also has become very much part of pop culture in the last 2 decades. Some other games have had great success with this, and we thought that we have this great IP on our hands, why not use it?
Okay.
So you'll be playing as...
Okay, God, I hate it on YouTube when you pause and it doesn't hide the UI, the YouTube UI. Okay, let's look around here. Is there anything special we see? I mean, we see 4 torches that are like lighting sources. Actually, before we even go into that, let's look at the UI, right? Like the UI is very, I mean, it's I wish some company would find a way to innovate the standard ARPG UI, because there's got to be a way that you can make things better, you know, because our vision is almost always on the center of the screen, right? And so like what I think of when I look at ARPGs like Hotbar, right? There's always only one, you know, and the way that it's like in the bottom center and you have your resource globes and stuff, it really makes me think of like MMOs too, and especially World of Warcraft, because back when I still played World of Warcraft like 20 years ago, I ended up getting heavily into modding, and to the point where my UI looked like it looked like I was playing a different game. I don't know whether I can find any of my old like photo bucket stuff from way back in the day. Let me see. I think I saw that they lost so much money that they were trying to charge people money to even access their old accounts. Which obviously not so great for like folks like who just don't, you know, just want to access. Yeah. Recover my account. Recover your account today for just $5. Really? I created the account actually almost 20 years ago exactly. I created my photo bucket account on April 17th of '05. And so I would have to pay $20, or no, I'm sorry, I would have to pay $5. I don't know if you can like cancel though. Right? Like these are monthly things. Can you, I mean, could I pay $5, go in and copy all of my pictures that I wanted to keep and then cancel the subscription right away? But like still, that's still me having to spend $5, right? to access my pictures. This is why, I mean, and this is a long time in the future, but this is like an example of why people are upset about the Nintendo Switch card things, where you're not actually getting a physical copy of a Switch game. You're getting like access to the game, and so they can discontinue that whenever they want, and it might not be for a while like Photo Bucket here, but it might also be. I don't know. I don't know. You know what? Let me see if before they put that paid access onto the site. I mean, maybe I was able to access it before or something, and I saved like pictures on my phone or something. I'm looking at my phone right now to see if I have anything like that favorited. It doesn't really look like it, but no photo bucket. I searched for world in all the photos that I have on my phone. It gave me nothing. I guess the only other place to like do a really quick search is probably going to be on my Discord server. So let me look on there real quick. But I'm thinking there's probably nothing here. I probably would have pinned it if I had something. Let me see. That's not what I'm looking for. Nothing for photo bucket. No. Oh, can I just look for like media too? Or no? I thought there was a way to just like look for media in here. Has image? Sure. In okay, old. Look old. Wow, yeah, I'm seeing like Sea of Stars back when we were playing Sea of Stars. That was a long time ago. Yeah, nah. There's there's nothing going on here. We're kind of sidetracking here too. Let's ignore that for now. But basically, you know, like in a lot of MMOs, I know like in newer ones, like in Final Fantasy 14, you actually have multiple hotbars that are visible on the screen at any given point. And I'm sure at this point in World of Warcraft you probably can too. But back when I played it, it was only one hotbar, and it was exactly like this, where your unit portrait and stuff was in the top left corner. And I completely changed that. Like I ended up making my hotbars like smaller and like higher elevated in the center of the screen, so they were like closer to the action, so I could more easily visually monitor cooldowns and stuff like that. As far as ARPGs go, that would be incredible. Like whether you could make like a vertical action bar like right here or something, or if you could get your keys maybe even like anywhere around. I know in ARPGs they like to use the top center for like boss health bars and stuff, and cool, that's fine, whatever. But yeah, I think like ARPG devs, they need to give more customization options for players to mess with the UI and customize it how they would like to. Because I bet if you did that, I bet if one of them did that, you wouldn't have as many people have their stuff in the bottom center. I mean, like for me, for instance, in PoE 2, I move it. I don't like it in the bottom center. I think I've been playing it with it in the bottom right, because I was streaming, and my monitor, my second monitor that has chat so I can interact with you guys, is to the right of the screen that I'm playing on. And so that made the most sense, like visually speaking, because I didn't have to glance as far. Like I could legitimately look at my hot bars and chat like almost at the same time. Whereas if I had it in the center, that wouldn't be as easy, or if I had it in the bottom left, that would be even worse. I see there are a few things here, like there's the D hotkey with 2 and the F hotkey with 1. I'm assuming that's the potions. I think they did a really good job of making those, like integrating the hotkeys you have for your potions like very neat. Like it looks like it's just part of the UI, whereas something like, honestly, I think both Diablo and PoE 2 did it not this well. The rest of the UI, I mean, we've got statues holding up the health and mana globes, whatever. That's, I mean, we've seen that since I don't know, D2 or D1 or something, so that's nothing new. I think the hotbar definitely does look cleaner. It does look more like, what's the right word? It looks, I don't know, it just looks better than it did in 1, I think. The minimap looks very, I think the minimap looks very similar to 1, but it also looks cleaner. Like, this stuff isn't, you know, it's just part of the art, kind of, the circles. Like, it looks like we might have a day-night cycle here, blocked by the share button, kind of. And then we've got our teleport button here, and that's not really interfering with the map too much. We got the name of the zone too. I think this looks, overall the UI just looks better than in 1, and that makes sense, right? Because it's a newer game. Now up here in the top left, I wonder, why don't we one back it up a little bit here.
This great IP on our hands.
We'll back it up and then we'll watch. Okay, yeah, that's going to be the menu hotkeys. Who is going to move? And that's for PC mostly, right? But also, question, who's actually going to move their mouse cursor all the way up into the left corner to click those? Not many people, right? People are going to use their keyboards for the shortcuts, or if they're on controller, they're going to use their buttons. Nobody's going to actually go up there. I think that's a really, really outdated feature in ARPG UIs. Like, why do we need, you could just, I mean, tell me what the what the hotkeys are. I mean, I don't think, do they really need to be on the screen taking up real estate? Not really. You know, like, I'm thinking about, especially like Titan Quest 1 on console, like, you just don't see that information, I don't think. I mean, the buttons might be on the bottom, they might be on the action bar, I can't remember, but it doesn't matter because you're not interacting with them. Even if they are on the hotbar, they're still wasted real estate space because you're pushing like your option button on your PlayStation, or your not your home button, the plus button if you're playing on Switch or something. You're still pushing a button instead of clicking on the UI element. So there's really no reason for like the inventory, the quests, the map. All of these don't need visual buttons on an ARPG UI, and at this point, I don't think. Okay, so the enemy health bar. Now that's interesting. Let me see here.
Rather unknown.
Okay, so we're looking at enemies, and now that'll be interesting because a lot of people who play ARPGs want to see floating health bars above enemies, right? And so it makes it easier when if you're ever playing, maybe you're playing hardcore or something, or maybe you are just new to the genre or something, or you're playing really, really hard content. Any of those reasons, it would be helpful to have floating health bars above enemies, because there might just be one enemy type that's much bigger threat than the others, and it's important to see that, like, especially if you're fighting like 3 of a really hard enemy. You might need to know the health so you can prioritize taking the lowest health ones down, you know, time after time after time if you're fighting 3 of them. So I hope that's going to be something in the options you can turn on and off. Now, I think it probably does make more sense for something like that to default be off, because it might be overwhelming. It might be like too much screen clutter, you know, for someone who's new to the genre or something like that. So hopefully that'll just be an option that some of us can choose to turn on. Now, looking at the action bar in the bottom center again, I like the icons for the spells. I don't know why, but like compared to PoE2 and D4, they seem bigger. Like, it looks like there's more like action going on. Like, I really like the hotkey art, I guess. It's really big. It really quickly conveys what it is, right? We see ice, lightning, wind, maybe time related. It almost looks like a clock or something, and then lightning. And then this is a movement skill, maybe like a sprint or a dodge or something over here. And then this is probably your basic attack, right? But it's really good. I think when you can convey information on the screen without even needing to use words, it's really good. And I hope like see here on the 4th button, we see the number 10 there. So maybe that's like 10 stacks of something or 10 charges of something that it's conveying even more information. It looks like over here on the movements button, the second from the right, there's a 3 there. It's not too big and too in your face. I kind of wish it had like a drop shadow on it, because the number seems to blend in with the figure that's moving there. You know, the skill art. But I mean, again, we're not even to early access yet, so stuff like that can get cleaned up yet. Okay, let's keep going.
You're honestly just training to.
As far as the gameplay, I think
You have a.
yeah, like look at these. Look at these. Where are we here? Okay, I gotta get better at this.
She's from Sparta and used to be a priest.
I don't know why I suck at this so much. Do I have to click on here?
Just training to.
Okay. Okay, look. These skill, and in this case spell animations, look really interesting, I'm not gonna lie. Like there's a lot going on. It's like one of the either skill 1 or skill 2. Maybe let's go back and maybe we can actually see which skills are getting used here.
To be a capable fighter.
Okay, so it looks like the Frost Nova, which is this on the ground right now that I managed to pause it on. That was the second skill. So the one where where the character is shooting out
Training to be
a bunch of ice like that. It's shooting out like a ton of ice bolts all over the screen. But then after they go all in every direction, they're turning into like heat-seeking icicles, which are then going towards the enemy. And that looks really cool. Like that looks really gnarly visually. It probably feels really good too. And the thing that why I started stopping the video here, and I missed it. This is early in the game. This is level 15 enemy only, and we're already getting skill animations that look that cool. And I mean, we can kind of get a little bit more insight into that too, with the fact that the hotbar isn't even fully filled up yet, right? We've only got 6 out of potentially 8 skills. Now that's a good number though, right? 8 skills. I can't remember how many skills we could use in PoE2, but in D4 I don't think we can use that many skills at a time, can we? Can't we only use like 6 skills or something? I can't remember for sure, but I also know on PoE2 you can like switch pages, so you can actually have a lot more skills. And that's also what I remember from from Grim Dawn. You could do multiple pages and you could toggle between them. I think you could actually also do that with Torchlight Infinite, which speak of the devil, like I haven't played that in a while, and that game's actually pretty fun. It's actually pretty fun. I don't know whether I still have it on my phone or not. It also has a Steam client, I think, too. What is the other game? There was another one that I was thinking of that had multiple pages for their skills. I mean, actually, Titan Quest 1 on console, you can actually do that. Maybe you can do it on PC too, honestly. It's been so long, I can't remember. But There was, what was the game? Oh, Marvel Heroes, the one that I just was posting on Discord about within the last week, where people actually brought the game back to life and they've got private servers going. I don't know if or when I'll ever have time to actually dive into it, but oh man, that game was so much fun. Okay, let's see what else we can see here.
She's from Sparta and used to be.
Okay, so we're doing a little bit of lore and art and stuff here.
You will.
Okay, now here, this is a really well made trailer, I think, right? Because they showed us some magic gameplay, right? Now they're gonna show us some melee like warfare type combat, and then I think if my memory serves me, we also got some archer gameplay too. So they did a really good job of showing off different kinds of gameplay. Now I'm looking at the action bar. Our 5th skill that's on Q is also on this character's bar, so I wonder what that is, because the spellcaster also had that. They also had the sprint or whatever on spacebar. Okay.
Your own worth over time.
Okay. Yeah, and that look at that, and then think back to the mage gameplay we saw a little while ago. There's a lot of it's looking like there's a lot more radial effects with the skills in this game, like more AoE that's like centered around the character, which is interesting. I'm not sure how much that'll actually matter to me initially, you know, because of course, come on, you guys know me. Of course, I'm gonna be playing pet builds. But you know, in Titan Quest 1 in the nature tree, we had like basically like a shaman from Warcraft. We had like a chain heal spell that you could cast, and you could actually heal your pets with it too. And so maybe if we get something like that, like a healing skill that you can use on your pets in this game too, maybe it'll be like a radial centered on the character instead, since that seems to be a really, really common theme. Now, one thing, and it doesn't really have any relevance to this whole radial skills or spells thing, but another thing that I noticed is that we didn't. I don't think. Well, let's keep watching the video before I come back to that point. I was gonna start talking about the lack of like menu screens and like just any content. Let's see. Okay, we've got a boss here. This boss looked good visually. I mean, it didn't really look like that anything that unique. You know, it was shooting out in like all directions around it, like waves of fire that go along the ground, and they're like staggered. It was basically like bullet hell. It would send them out like this first, and then it would send another one out like in between it, and so you had to like dodge back and forth. That's not really anything new to Arpgs or anything, but it is like more than we got in terms of like ground effects and stuff in Titan Quest 1. So that's good. That has me encouraged, and the fact that this is only a level 15-ish boss here too kind of means that hopefully we'll get even more flashy and fancy like boss ground effects and visuals and such.
S2 is very much a classic.
I like how the boss looks.
In there with like
the fire itself looks good. I really like how. Oh, and now look at there. Okay, maybe I missed that. See how it's shooting this one in between those two? But the difference is these are moving slowly to the outside of the arena, and this one was moving faster. So where are you gonna go? Because this one already caught up to those two, so it's almost like you actually have to be closer to the boss, and so you can dodge in between them or something. I'll have to remember that whenever we actually get our hands on the game.
You merge two.
This is why I like going back, and now it's doing
So you have to find these little
like instead of everywhere. Okay, and here again we've got a caster. We didn't have much gameplay there. Now wait a second. There was something above the enemy's head there.
instead of just being given classes. So you have to find these.
I like the art. I like the equipment art. I mean, look, that looks a little bit Medusa-y on the helm there too, right? And honestly, I think this doesn't look very much like anything I think we've got in D4. It looks more like this looks a little bit more Diablo-y. But the other one looked more. This one looks more Path of Exile-y to me. Okay, so yeah, see, what is this circuit? What is this like eye icon above the enemy? Do you have them like marked or something? And then also down here on our hotbar, we've got what looks like maybe we're poisoned or something. Like we've got 3 stacks of poison on us or something. My guess would be that's a debuff, right? Because typically they put buffs on the left and debuffs on the right.
That you can have
yeah, look at the ice. Look at the heat-seeking icicles. I love it. Okay, and what's here? Is this a stagger bar like we've got in other ARPGs? Probably. Now the thing is, these are, and we can't see it because my cursor's there.
these synergies.
These are Ichthyans, I think they're called, right? Which is a monster type we had a lot of in Titan Quest 1.
Entanglements that you can have between the two masteries, these synergies.
Ichthyans, yeah. They're like
these little.
I don't know. They're kind of like merfolk or something.
Between the two masteries, these synergies, and make the best use of them possible.
Okay, yeah. Now see, look at this. Now, what class is this? This is a bit different, isn't it? Oh gosh, we've got a lot on the screen here to digest. Okay, for one, they love doing stuff like this in Titan Quest 1, right? Like having you go into like graveyards and fight a bunch of undeads. This is a little bit nostalgic. Okay, we've got a mark. We've got a mark above this enemy over here. I wonder if that's just an icon showing where the player's cursor is. Like maybe that's just an indicator of which enemy the player is targeting when you're on PC. And I think I was right. Maybe not. We've got what looks like 2 buffs over here and what looks like maybe a debuff over here. But it's a little bit hard to tell. No, I guess it's not, because yeah, that looks like fire. So interestingly, all this stuff raining down, this is not our player, like a player spell. Because looking down at the bottom and the bar is W Whirlwind. It kind of looks like it. But this still looks like the I mean, it looks maybe a little bit different than the last physical character we saw over here. Yeah, like looking at their bars, I mean, some of the skills are the same, but then it looks like 2, 3, and 4 are the same, but then 1's not. This one's got like a lightning skill, and during the boss fight, that was a higher level. So maybe this skill that's on the 1 key here, this lightning looking skill, maybe that's like a lower level skill that they eventually swapped out by the time they got to this boss fight, because that was, I think the boss was 16 and these enemies are 12. Actually, speaking of that, okay, so we can see the XP bar here, and we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 segments, so it's a little over halfway to the next level. But like looking around the UI, oh yep, we can see the level. Okay, so here we're 16. Here we're 17. Okay, so even less of a difference. Okay, let's go back over to here. Yeah, so that is an enemy. Gosh, okay, let's go back. Look at how much damage. Oh my, wait. What was that? Hold on. It looked like the player had 2 health bars. Did you see that?
Make the best use of them.
Watch this. Watch this. Look at the health bar. It's going down and then it goes down again. Okay, so that could be a couple things, right? It could be like overhealing, or it could be like something like fortified that we have in D4, right? Where it's another, or I guess it wouldn't be fortified, right? It would be barrier, right? Where you kind of get overhealing, but it's not actually health. It's like something else. But yeah, like look at how far, look at how fast the health bar went down. That spell really hurt. Like look at.
From there,
Or wait, hold on, we didn't go far enough back.
you master these synergies and make the best use of them possible.
Yeah, I mean you go through.
From there,
You go through like 1 1/4 health bars there fighting those enemies.
quite a lot actually, but the core fantasy stuff, just a tanky warrior, of course.
Okay, so I really wish we would have killed the boar, but maybe we can see the others. Yeah. What is that? Is that a crab or something? One of the really cool things in Titan Quest 1 that was probably maybe a little bit underappreciated were the ragdoll physics. And we really got to see. Oh man, I had a notification on my phone from Reddit on the Expedition 33 sub of someone asking why we didn't parry the Gomage. But yeah, like the thing in Titan Quest 1 is there was a lot of hilly terrain in the environments, right? Like not very big height changes, not a lot of verticality. But it was a lot of hilly verticality, not like mountains or ladders or anything like we've seen in PoE and Diablo or anything like that. But I think we did see that we're going to be seeing more of that in here too. But yeah, that's what I'm looking at. There was this one enemy that the player killed over here that's like rolling down the hill. This crab, look at it roll head over feet there down the hill. I love it. Oh, look at that. That was a really cool skill. Now we've got new skills here too, and this looks like it's just different masteries, right? I think we're on our archer now. Yeah, this looks very faintly like a bow skill. But this attack the player just did, it was like a 3-pronged like skill shot or something, and it looks like it was it with arrows?
You can take your character in many directions.
Yeah, well, God, yeah, it kind of looked like a shotgun, didn't it?
You can take your character in many directions, and choice is.
And doing a lot of fire stuff there too.
You can take your character.
Sorry, we're gonna be doing this a lot. I wonder, you know what? Maybe we should do is slow it down. We might need to mute the volume. That's a lot of arrows in a small area. And then look down here on the bottom. There are no skills that are on cooldown. That's pretty interesting, right? Because those seemed like pretty big attacks. I mean, the player just yeeted how many enemies there?
Just a tanky warrior. Of course you're gonna have that. You can take your character in many directions, and choice.
3 enemies and you almost one-shot them.
Your abilities will
Now this was interesting. We're level 17 here. We have new icons on our bar. I think maybe not. Maybe they're just moved around. But yeah, I mean the ice is just going everywhere. One thing we should try to see whether we can tell here is the icicles bouncing off the walls too. It doesn't look like it, no. And we've got like a rain of arrows here or something.
Several modifier choices.
But again, unlike in Diablo, where I think the Rain of Arrows build right now in D4 is actually really strong. But it's also, I think, one of the ultimate skills. And so you have to use all this gear to make it work. Excuse me. And then you have to get all this cooldown reduction too to make it so that you can spam it. Whereas here, it looks like it's literally just depleting a lot of MP. Okay. You know, addressing MP regen or refilling is a much more generalized problem to try to solve than it is to have to reduce a really long cooldown to make it so you can spam it, right? That already has me intrigued here. And I do remember from Titan Quest 1, archer builds were really fun. They were really diverse with what you could do. But for whatever reason, they were just fun. Like I think I enjoyed playing archer builds in Titan Quest 1 more than in any of the Diablo games. Like I dabbled with it in Diablo 2, but I ended up really much preferring playing Javazon instead of a Boazon. And so I didn't really do much bow stuff. Like probably the last time I really played a lot of a bow character, it's probably gonna no, it doesn't matter. Whatever. But it legit was probably all the way back in Diablo 1 playing Rogue. Like I haven't got into, and I kind of want to, because this season in D4, I mean, I haven't played it very much, but I finally got around to trying Barb, and it's okay. I don't know. I'm not high enough Paragon level for it to be fully online yet, so it's a little hard to judge. Maybe I'll be able to find some time to get back on there. I don't know. But yeah, I haven't even gotten around to trying Rogue yet. Like I've mostly been playing Necromancer and Druid, and finally trying Barb and stuff. Like I haven't tried Spiritborn. I haven't tried Rogue. I'm just getting to Barb. Yeah. I don't know. Something about Titan Quest 1, it did a better job of, like, I think making different archetypes of, like, characters more accessible, simply because there were so many different ways to play each archetype that surely there was something there for everybody. Right? Like, granted, I don't think I ever tried, and I forgot Sorcerer for D4, but I don't think I ever tried a Spellcaster in Titan Quest 1, but I tried an Archer, I tried a Sword and Board, I tried Spear and Board, and I tried, like, all these different kinds of pet classes, so I basically tried all but, like, 2 different archetypes. I think the only ones that I didn't really try were, like, melee, like stealthy stuff, like with like a rogue, and then spellcasting like a sorcerer. So I mean, I was able to find a way to play an archer and have fun. I was able to find a way to play a sword and board character and have fun. I was able to find a way to play a spear and board character and have fun. So I mean, those are archetypes that I don't typically gravitate towards or enjoy in ARPGs, and I really enjoyed all of them in Titan Quest 1. So it's going to be very fun. We're going to have to try a lot of different mastery combos. I mean, of course, I will start with the pet stuff at the start, but we'll do more stuff. Okay, let's see what else we got here.
Into your skill. This is our little innovation in this space.
What is?
Pieces that you can equip into your skill. So each of them has like 4 of our game. Your abilities will be modifiable. So each of them has like these several modifier choices that you can equip into your skill.
Okay, now I think we have already seen screenshots of what that looks like. And I'm not gonna lie, if memory serves me, I think it's kind of like the skill rune choices that we got to make back in Diablo 3, where it was like you unlock a skill once you hit high enough level, and then as you continue leveling, you get all these different rune choices, like basically upgrade options for the skills. It's not great, but I think this is more advanced. This is the system that the take that they have on it here in Titan Quest 2 is what they had originally planned for Diablo 3, like way back in like 2010, and then they ended up moving away from it because they thought it was too complex, which in and of itself was a really big bummer on launch. But basically what it was is that you can actually level up those upgrades that you choose for skills. And I think Blizzard had even talked about maybe as you level up a skill rune or something, like the effects even change, whether it's like power wise or visually or something. And so hopefully we'll see stuff like that here. Maybe it'll be completely different, and it'll be, I think, even an earlier iteration that they spoke about for Diablo 3, where they were actually going to have those skill runes be drops, and you were going to be having to find different levels of them to upgrade them. I thought that would have been a really cool system. Like, you actually have to go out and grind and kill stuff to get your skills stronger. And you know what? Where did that concept go? It's in Path of Exile, so they really shit the bed there, right? I mean, with the level gems and like of the skill gems in PoE and stuff, and the different types of gems and all the different ways that you can upgrade them and put them together and everything. And so I'm hoping we're gonna see something similar to that. I think at the very least we know that they will be able to be upgraded in level. Now, whether or not they changes any of the effects, I don't think we know yet. I mean, maybe the people that got into the early access playtest over the winter, maybe they do actually know that, but as someone who did not, I don't know that information yet.
This is our little innovation in this space.
Now he's not wrong, right? It is an innovation as far as the IP goes, right? Because in Titan Quest 1, it was literally like, here's your skill tree, which, by the way, is a good skill tree. Like, don't get me wrong, like, I think I still probably prefer the Titan Quest type skill tree, the Titan Quest 1 and Grim Dawn type skill tree, to like Diablo 4's skill tree. Like, I think it's still just flat out better, where your skills are like vertical, or I guess in Grim Dawn's case it's like horizontal, but like there's all these different branching things, and you have to level up the mastery to get to the different tiers of the skills to unlock them, to be able to put points into them, and then you can put points into each skill to like make it stronger too. And so it's kind of, I mean, it's basically going back to like Diablo 2's skill tree, right? Which by the way is still probably, I can't believe I'm gonna say it, but it's probably still better than Diablo 4's skill tree too. But the long and short of it is that since you're putting level up skill points that you get into skills, unless there's a way to reset that or something, like they might be permanent choices in this too. I can't remember. I think you could do like 1 or 2 skill resets, or maybe they cost a lot of money or something in Titan Quest 1. I can't remember. I'm pretty sure you could reset all your skill choices in that, which is good, because I think as far as Diablo 2 aging, that's like one of the worst things about the game is that like your skill point allocation is permanent, so don't brick your character. like 100 hours into playing it, like at level 94, don't incorrectly allocate 1 skill point. Please just don't do it, right? Okay, let's see. This is the first time I think I've really looked at the mini map. It looks okay. I mean, the colors of the terrain on the minimap don't really match what we're seeing on the screen. Right? Like, on the minimap, it looks like we're in a sandy area, and then on the screen, it looks very, like, dirt-ish. Like, it's, like, dirt everywhere, not sand. And it's also very, like, grayscale-y. I mean, we've got some grass here and there and stuff, but yeah, that doesn't really reflect it that much. Now, we do have this icon on the screen. We have the weird, what actually is that? It almost looks like a dot with like almost like either a banana peel or maybe an upside down like flower attached to the dot. I mean, I think that's the player icon, right? But I don't know. I mean, I guess it's probably supposed to be an arrow, but it kind of does look like a banana peel on top of a dot to me. And then over here, whatever this is, this torch thing, I'm guessing it's like a checkpoint, right? Because they were very big and prominent in Titan Quest 1. I mean, they're pretty prominent in like all RPGs, but I guess when I think about like checkpoint, like zone or environment checkpoints, I think of maybe Titan Quest 1 more than any other ARPG, just because that was always they always seem to be in the right place too. That was the other thing. Like, I feel like they put them in really good locations, right? Like, they put them like a quarter of the way or halfway through zones, like in a path, like a choke point on the map where you have to go through, and so you literally have to get the checkpoint. Like, you don't have a choice, and it's always there. Yeah, they were almost always in good spots. Okay, feats on bones. Now, why, I wonder, is that a special enemy? Because it's another Ichthian enemy, but it might be like an elite enemy or something. Okay, so it did.
Going to be doing any microtransactions in this.
Nailed it. Nailed it. I'm not gonna lie. I guess the only downside to that maybe is the lack of cosmetics, right? Which is that really the biggest deal? Is it really? Not really, probably, right? And even if they don't have microtransactions, they could still put cosmetics in the game just as drops, right? Like, you can actually just do that. If you're a dev, you can just put cosmetic drops in a game without microtransactions. Like, I'm thinking about maybe like the Borderlands games, right? Like, maybe like Borderlands 2 or something. I don't remember there being any microtransactions in Borderlands 2, but I remember finding a bunch of different cosmetic options, like skins that we could equip on our characters. And they were literally just drops or quest rewards. Cool. Okay, thanks for not ripping off your player base. I mean, that might be a little bit aggro of a wording choice there. I mean, because there is something to be said for cosmetics in a microtransaction space. There's also something to be said for more like stash tab stuff in a microtransaction space. Now, granted, don't get me wrong. I think Path of Exile at this point has overdone it a little bit with that, and we also saw that like a decade ago or more in Marvel Heroes, where I think they kind of overdid it too with microtransaction stash space. The fact that game, when it finally shut down, it had like 70 or 80 characters in it. If you were playing like 20 characters or something, how in the hell were you going to have enough stash room? And so they now granted also, well, I don't know, I mean, I know PoE 2 is free, but that's early access. I don't know. Or wait, no, it wasn't. We had to pay like 20 or 30 bucks, didn't we? I think PoE was free though. Maybe we are literally just paying for the early access, probably. But Marvel Heroes was also free, so I guess I kind of get it in that sense, with that context, right? Because they needed to make money to to fund their game and to fund upcoming content for their games, and so they needed to have revenue. And I guess just here THQ Nordic has chosen to go the same route they did with one after they took it over from gosh, I can't remember what the original company's name was that created Titan Quest 1. THQ Nordic was not the company that created Titan Quest 1. They were not the ones that created the IP. They did take it over, I think, a little under 10 years ago, and they treated it really well, actually. Like, they really did. I mean, they brought out 2 expansions for the game. I think they were the ones that brought it to console, maybe. Now, granted, it was a terrible experience on console, but it still is on consoles. And I think the only reason it was a terrible experience on consoles was because the multiplayer infrastructure was just atrocious. Like, you would try to hop in and play with a friend or something, and whether it was locally or not, like, you would often, when you teleported back to town or something, one of the players would just disconnect. The game would just crash. And it was like that. You'd play for like an hour, and you'd have to, like, one or both of the players would have to, like, rejoin the game like 10 times or something. It was just not a fun experience. And the worst part with that is, what if it happens to the host? Then you got to start over. And the thing about one was, like, you could, if you sat there for like hours on end and you didn't have any like crashes or something, you could kill like every enemy in the game, and then you could go back, like you could go through Act 1, 2, and 3, kill all the enemies in all 3 acts, and then go back to Act 1 to the starting area. The enemies would still be dead. But if the host disconnected, then you know, all the enemies respawn when you create a new game. So yeah, not a great multiplayer console experience. Hopefully we have that improved here. I think one really big thing, because it's most likely going to be multi-platform again, will they have cross-platform? Because I don't think one did have cross-platform co-op, like multiplayer.
Game, because we don't believe in that form of monetization in general. We will be doing traditional DLC.
Okay, so that was that a player? That looks like that was actually an enemy attack.
Traditional.
Oh, do you think that's what this thing indicates? Is that an enemy is about to do a fancy skill? Maybe, because I think that's the enemy that's doing this, right?
However, so monetization in.
Let me see.
We will be doing traditional.
Yeah. Oh, that's really cool. Okay, so it's like, hey, player, this enemy, this one, right over here, this enemy, not the other ones that are like way over here, not all these enemies over here. This one right here, it's about to do a big attack and one-shot you. You might want to move, just saying. That's pretty cool, actually. I like that. And also the attack itself was just pretty cool visually too, right? It was like one of the skill that barbs have in D4 now, where they smash up the ground. Okay, we're seeing a lot of stuff here. Now we're seeing fire projectiles. Look at this character. This is the first, and I'm gonna guess so in Titan Quest 1, all the ice stuff was actually in the same tree as the storm stuff, or as the lightning stuff, right, in the storm tree. And the fire stuff was together, I think, in the earth tree, and it was like both earth and fire. So it's interesting because it looks like the skill on 3 is still an ice skill. So that would mean that this is probably storm and earth masteries here together. And I can't remember as far as whether they've told us in like text outside of the playtest whether the masteries unlock at the same time as they did in 1, which I think was like, wasn't it like level 1 and 5 or something like that, or sorry, like 2 and 5, or 2 and, was it 8? I think it was, I don't know why, I think it was 8. I think it was 2 and 8 when they unlocked, maybe. But yeah, I mean, this character obviously is above 8, so that would kind of make sense. Yeah, the minimap here, and you know, it looks like we're indoors here. The minimap looks good because you can kind of tell like where like what's coming up, because you can see like the minimap zoomed out pretty good. That's good. Oh, that was a bigger fireball.
Of course.
Which skill was that? Was that 1?
Creatures, areas.
Yeah, look at that, because look at how much MP it used.
boss.
It used like a good like a third of the health MP or something.
DLC packs, which will include additional chapters, so more content.
Yeah, I see how far it jumps down there.
Yes. And
Oh, I like that too. That's a good indicator. So you can see looking at your action bar when it's grayed out, you don't have the resources to cast it, even if there's no cooldown.
masteries, of course.
We had an aura there. Okay, now we're back here. I think this is a different character because we've got that fireball skill again.
Early access, very
This is the like warfare
soon. You can
we saw earlier. A lot of ground effects again.
a summer timeline for this, and then later the other platforms.
Yeah, that's a little bit tough for me, right? Because that means even when early access starts, I probably won't be able to stream it since it's going to be on PC first. But that's okay. By the time it actually launches, we can just blast, and maybe it'll still be this year for consoles. Who knows? We'll have to keep an eye on it. Yeah, looks like it's coming along really good. All the stuff that they talked about in here too. I mean, it sounds like the playtest was really well received. So they've got, let's see, keyboard control type, which is really, it seems like it's become really popular. Maybe, I don't know if they have WASD controls in PoE 1. I'm pretty sure they added it to 2, and actually, I'm not 100% sure whether D4 has it or not. But either way, this'll make people happy. That's good. Left clicking. I mean, okay, so these are things that they're already working on. These are the areas of improvement probably that in their playtest survey were not that well received. So they've got combat feel, or maybe it's just areas that they think they can do better in. Maybe that is the case. Let's see. We've got survey numbers there. Survey numbers here in the difficulty. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, that's basically average, right? Between 1 and 6, 3.5 is right in the middle, so it's a little bit more difficult than average. Challenging, but not unfair. And most likely we'll probably get like 3 difficulties to play through again this time, right? Most likely. I mean, that's what 1 was like. So I mean, if anything, they could just do like the genre age old thing where you go up a difficulty and like your resistances and your defense get worse on the higher ones, and so that's a form of adding more difficulty or something. Some of you describe combat as a bit sluggish or slow. Our goal is to make combat more tactical and meaningful, but it should never feel sluggish. Yeah, so like how do you answer that? The problem is when it comes to this genre, tactical and meaningful basically does equate to sluggish or slow, right? So like how do you solve that problem? Maybe one way is like what we saw there towards the end. Really, maybe not so slow or long attack animations for skills, but maybe just like really expensive skills. The only problem with that is eventually, like late in the game, if you get like the best equipment, it's not going to matter if your skills cost like half your mana to cast and your whole build, you're trying to make it revolve around a skill that's that expensive, and you want to be able to spam it, because you probably will be able to eventually mitigate the resource cost, right? Whether through skills or through equipment. But maybe that actually is a good way of it, because you'd have to get there with your skills if they put like resource mitigation passive nodes or something in the skill tree. They could put them really high up in levels, so you gotta level up a bit before you can get them. Or two, they're just on high level equipment, so you just gotta be high level to even see the items drop. And so that would also play into the idea that you want to continue seeing your character get stronger the further into playing your character you are too. So maybe we I mean, maybe that's what we just saw here, one of their ways of addressing this. The aiming difficulty, aiming abilities, especially with bows. Now that, yeah, I mean, that was definitely something. Like on console, basically the only way you could aim stuff was if you held down the button of your skill you're trying to aim, and then you got like this radial dial that was like, this area was like a cone, so like all the area inside of my fingers, like the V there, and you could just like rotate it around your character with the right stick, and like not so great. I mean, I don't know how they're gonna do that on console. I mean, we not gonna lie, I feel like we already have seen stuff like that where you aim ground effects or conal effects, radial effects, anything like that, where you aim them with one of the sticks while moving with the other. We have seen that on console. We've probably seen that on PC too. As far as with a controller goes, like if someone were to say try to play like an MMO with a controller, right, they would have to be able to do that. But we have seen it be successfully implemented with games where you're aiming radial effects with a controller, and it actually works, and it works well. I mean, for one, PoE 2 I think does it pretty good. I don't think it does it as good as the other game I was thinking, but it still does it pretty good. The other game that comes to mind is still some of the crispest ARPG combat I think I've ever played, probably, in Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3 on Switch. And so like in that game, with characters like Hawkeye, who have like rain of arrows, but it's a radial thing and you can put it anywhere on the screen, like they just picked they picked like a dead zone thing for like the aiming with the controller, and a movement speed for the area you're aiming. They made those decisions for the players, and it worked out really well. Like it's really, really easy to aim like skill shots and radial ranged attacks and stuff in that game. Like it's so easy. Like Hawkeye feels great on a controller. And so if they can get something like that, that would be really good. We've already made improvements to the system, but we'll keep an eye on it. Sure. Balance. Yeah. I mean, we know how that goes in ARPGs. It's hard to make stuff feel challenging while also making the combat feel rewarding, right? Because in ARPGs, we were often fighting against a lot of enemies at a time. And so if you can't kill them fast enough, it does not feel good at all. But then also if you're killing them too fast and there's no way to bump the difficulty up, that also does not feel very good. Because it just feels boring if you just run around like as a barbarian. If you just spin to win and you run through everything and you one shot everything, even bosses, like, okay, well, now what? Performance. Well, most felt performance was in a decent state. Some experienced issues. Constantly monitoring and improving this, but some of the improvements to performance might happen when we close in on our 1.0 launch. It's just much better to optimize when you have all of the pieces in front of you. And the early access on PC will help with that too, as they approach like the actual launch on all platforms. So they're doing WASD, they're doing left clicking, they're gonna make the unspent mastery points, like, or unspent skill points, easier to see. One final data point. According to the survey, the overwhelming majority of you would recommend the game to friends already. It's good stuff. And yeah, like I said, like, this is what a perfect update, right? Like, it's not very long. It's not like a bombardment of information. It's not like it's not an overwhelming amount of information, and they covered a lot in here too. I I think the Diablo 4 team could learn something from these Titan Quest 2 updates. But that's it, I think. I think that's all I have for today. I don't know what I'm gonna do with this video, actually. I guess maybe I'll put 2 videos on YouTube. We'll put one where, yeah, maybe I'll just put one video. Maybe we'll just put the whole video on there, and I'll just timestamp it up with all the games and then all the Titan Quest 2 stuff. Actually, I probably shouldn't, right? I should just do the problem with that is that we are not watching the whole future game showcase right here, which is this segment that is still going on. It's probably almost wrapped, right? Because I started a little bit early and it was supposed to go for 90 minutes, so it's probably almost over. But I didn't cover anywhere near all of the games and stuff because we were too busy analyzing the Titan Quest 2. So I think I'll actually just cut out the stuff before then, and maybe I'll put like yeah, I don't know, because it wasn't that many games, right? Like I put in the Gen game channel on my server, like the games that are interesting to me, which actually ended up being 5 whole games, which was a little surprising, again, more than I thought would be. But I think I think what I'll probably do is just put the Titan Quest stuff too up on YouTube. So if you're watching this on YouTube, you're probably just here for the Titan Quest analysis, and it ended up being quite a bit. I bet this one's going to be about an hour or two, and I I don't know how much we actually found here. I guess I'll have to go back and rewatch it and see, and time code it up too with things that we found. But yeah, I think this video wasn't quite as maybe informative as the Final Fantasy Tactics one was, but it kind of also makes sense because that was a debut trailer, like an announcement trailer, and this is kind of just more like an update trailer. I mean, we didn't even get a launch date, I don't think, did we? Yeah, no, we didn't even get a launch date. So yeah, who knows? But yeah, that's gonna do it for me. This will be in a playlist, and I guess moving forward, whenever we get more Titan Quest stuff, I'll probably put it in the same playlist, and it'll probably be like deep dive kind of like this, where we're breaking down videos and looking for every little nook and cranny about the videos that we can find. So stay tuned if you're interested in Titan Quest 2 as much as I am. There will be more coming, I promise. But for me, for now, it's Saturday, June 7th. I'll be back on Monday. We'll be doing Octopath, and then on Tuesday we'll be doing Sword of Convalary again. And then I think we're finally going to be getting back to some Whispers baseball on Wednesdays. We're going to start calling it Whispers Wednesdays, I think. So if you have any interest in checking that out, it's in the Super Mega Baseball 4 game on PS5, which is actually a really, really fun sports game. And when I first started playing it, I didn't even like baseball, the sport, and Game still hooked me, so all right, I'm gonna get out of here. Thanks for watching. If you made it this far, if you're new to the channel, if you could like and subscribe, that would really help my algorithm to grow the channel. That'd be great. And leave a comment if you want to as well. And hopefully someday I'll see you in Titan Quest 2. Maybe we can play some co-op together. All right, take care, guys. Peace out.